Good afternoon. I'm Senior Chief Petty Officer Castell. I want to welcome you to the 2018 Chief Petty Officer Pinning Ceremony. I would also like to give a special welcome to Commanding Officer Camp Lemonnier Djibouti and the Commanding General Combined Joint Task Force Horn of Africa. Welcome, gentlemen. The ceremony you're about to witness is the culmination of a long and arduous journey. For the sailors you will meet, it was a journey that did not begin a month ago, but when they learned of their selection as Chief Petty Officer, but years ago when they embarked on their journey as sailors in the United States Navy. Will the guests please rise for the arrival of the newly selected Chief Petty Officers, the parading of the colors, and the invocation. Color guard, advance the colors.
Color, forward, march. Going, hold, left, face, freeze it, march.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Chaplain Arnone will now offer the invocation.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, you have taught us that wherever and whenever we gather in your holy name, you are there. And so we gladly welcome you to these proceedings to bless us with your presence. Be present, we pray, in a particular way to these chief petty officers who have dedicated a significant portion of their time and effort, not simply to pin on an emblem, but to learn and embody a unique Navy culture dedicated to guiding and mentoring their juniors and to advising and supporting their superiors. Seal with your Spirit's gift of wisdom, knowledge, counsel, and understanding what they have learned in the management of all things Navy. Thus, sealed by your grace, may we, United States of America, our allies, and their shipmates enjoy for many years the fruits of their labor. For we ask these and all things in your most holy name. Amen.
Will the guests please be seated? Chief selectees, parade, rest. Ladies and gentlemen, Master Chief John Morton, Commanding Master Chief Camp Lemonnier Djibouti, will now give the welcoming remarks.
Good afternoon and welcome. General Craig, Skipper Julio, Chaplain, Captain Wall, and Commander Cross, fellow shipmates, chiefs, and guests. Today is a great day of celebration for our senior enlisted leaders, colleagues, friends, our families back home in the United States Navy. We will soon pin anchors on our newest Chief Petty Officers, for this is a time-honored tradition for our branch of service, and a joyous moment that we've all been waiting for. The Chief's anchors have a deep-rooted meaning. They're the symbol of trust, experience, and integrity. Above all, leadership. This, by far, a major milestone in their career. As each of you have experienced Chief's initiation, I'm sure you've had several thoughts go through your mind like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to take another advancement exam. Or the initial fear and anxiety because of the moment and the amount of responsibility that would now be placed upon you. How will you handle it? How will you guide all those sailors that need your counsel and sound judgment? During the past 6 weeks, you've each proved your commitment, physical and mental strength, and agility to make impactful decisions that affected all those you work for. 90% of those sailors whom you work for will look to you for leadership, but fear not, you are not alone. You have a worldwide support system and your fellow brothers and sisters in the mess. The training, experiences, and lifelong lessons leading up to this point have prepared you for this moment. You will now belong to the greatest fraternity in the United States Navy. Today we congratulate you on this monumental achievement in your career. Your promotion wasn't simply given, it was earned. Throughout your career in the Navy, you will continue to uphold our core values in all that you do. You are that positive influence, mentors, and subject matter experts. You each bring unique perspectives and experiences that will provide our sailors, junior enlisted and junior officers alike, with clear guidance and answers. As you think back to when you first started this journey in boot camp, and you continued on a path to a promising career, you met chiefs throughout your career that guided and mentored you through your promotions to this point. Reflect back on those years. Think about those shipmates and mentors who helped you along the way and never steered you wrong. They believed in you and your abilities. What was it about that person that motivated you to keep going, that kept you in the fight, and never gave up on you even when you gave up on yourself? Or Was it the motivation and determination from your family members who are watching you get pinned today? They were there for you. They provided unconditional support, understanding, encouragement, and at times corrected you when you were wrong. They believed in you when you gave up on yourself and supported you. To the spouses and parents watching via video today, as your partner or child excelled in the Navy, you had to balance numerous responsibilities, whether it was caring for children, taking care of finances, or just keeping the home running smoothly. Your participation in their success was invaluable then as invaluable now. As they pinned their anchors on, thank you. So to those of you here right now, it's your time. Your time to pay it forward, to give back what was instilled in you. Your membership in this elite and select fraternity is special. It has stood for loyalty and leadership for 125 years. You owe. Your mentorship and insight are invaluable to the arrogant young officer who thinks they have all the answers with all the years of experience, or the green ensign who doesn't know to ask the chief. The young E2 has lost their way and needs the support you can provide to them. Let them know they have a future in our Navy. You'll be the one to pull them aside and provide that guidance and direction, so be ready. We can say with confidence, after seeing you through initiation, watching your transformation during this process, you are capable of performing this task. It's not always during work hours that you'll receive that call. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So be ready. You have the heart and determination that our Navy needs. You have proven that you have the confidence, integrity, honor, courage, and commitment to wear the anchors. So lead by example. As the Chief Petty Officers, you already have the combined work and leadership to rise to the ranks. This is just the beginning. Your life changes today. Can you feel the excitement? I can. Are you ready for the challenge? The difficult task, the responsibility, and the leadership? Yes, you are. As the Command Master Chief of Camp Lemonnier, Djibouti, Africa, I'm proud to say you are worthy of being a Chief Petty Officer in the United States Navy. You're one of the chosen few. You represent our history and our future. But most importantly, you are the role model of the next generation of chiefs. You'll be expected to make them even better than you are, to pay it forward and lead with excellence. Congratulations. Welcome to the mess.
ITC Tallman will now read the presentation of the anchors.
The fouled anchor is the emblem of the rank of Chief Petty Officer of the United States Navy. Attached to the anchor is a length of chain and the letters USN. To the novice, the anchor, chain and letters only identify a Chief Petty Officer of the United States Navy. But to a chief, these have a more noble and glorious meaning. The U stands for unity, which reminds us of cooperation, maintaining harmony, and continuity of purpose and action. The S stands for service, which reminds us of our service to God, our fellow man, and our Navy. The N stands for navigation, which reminds us to keep ourselves on a true course so that we may walk upright before God and man in our transactions with all mankind, but especially for our fellow chiefs. The chain is symbolic of flexibility and reminds us of the chain of life that we forge day by day, link by link, and may be forged with honor, morality, and virtue. The anchor is emblematic of the hope and glory of the fulfillment of all God's promises to our souls. The golden or precious anchor by which we must be kept steadfast in faith and encouraged to abide in our proper station amidst the storm of temptation, affliction, and persecution.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd now like to introduce our guest speaker for today's ceremony, Captain Charles DeGilio. Captain DeGilio, a native of Poughkeepsie, New York, holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in Electronic Engineering Technology from University of Hartford, a Master's of Science degree from St. Mary's University. His career as a naval flight officer includes assignments to numerous assignments all over the world. His command assignments, however, include the C-3F Maritime Air Operations Detachment, U.S. STRATCOM Joint Information Operations Warfare Center, and the 3rd Fleet Maritime Operations Headquarters. Prior to his current assignment, he was a Navy Emergency Preparedness Liaison Officer for the state of Texas. He is currently the Commanding Officer at Camp Lemonnier, Djibouti, and a Program Manager for Dale Federal in Austin, Texas. It's my honor to present Captain DeGilio.
Good afternoon. General Craig, Captain Wall, XO, officers, mostly the Master Chiefs, the Senior Chiefs, and the Chiefs in attendance today. Mostly I want to speak to our selectees. It is my distinct honor and privilege to participate in this year's Camp Lemonnier Chiefs Pinning Ceremony and to witness your excitement and enthusiasm as you receive your anchors. This will be the next step in the journey of your career as a Chief Petty Officer in the United States Navy. We each play an important role in leading and supporting our shipmates, but your role will have additional meaning. As you receive your anchors, you will enter a unique fraternity of men and women who proudly wear the title of Chief. And with that title, the responsibility to rise to another level of leadership and responsibility. As a sailor, you raised your hand to protect our nation's freedom, liberty, and a way of life. We now depend on your leadership to mentor and lead your sailors and instill them in the core values which makes our Navy and nation strong. During this season, you formed special bonds that we value from our chiefs. We saw you in the galley eating together. You studied, worked, and shared together. You were forming a bond that we appreciate from our chiefs. All that prepared you for this special moment. This is the very day that will change your life forever. Your answers, solicited or not, will motivate, guide, mentor, and advise. Your answers will make a profound and lasting difference in so many lives. Every new sailor, officer, and enlisted will or should know the 3 words that will help make them most in the Navy career. Ask the Chief. In the end, combined together, your answers will configure the traditions, values, and success of our Navy in the decades ahead. As a young junior officer, I was given a senior chief when I was a division officer. That chief remains with me today. He would take me aside and teach me how to be an officer. That's your job. As a chief or master chief, senior chief, your job is to teach an officer how to be an officer in today's Navy. It's not easy. We have some fairly stubborn people. The Master Chief is still teaching me. Your shipmates and loved ones salute your courage and commitment to our Navy as it sails into its 243rd year in the defense of our great republic. I can only imagine how rewarding this moment feels to you, especially to your family and friends back home. who have been there to cheer you on, celebrate with you from across the waters. It can be an emotional time not to have your family physically here with you during this momentous day in your career. But I hope you are able to make this moment special with your family cheers you away from afar. As new chiefs, you now join a corps of strongest leaders in our Navy's future. And because of your leadership, because of you, we can be confident that America's future is assured. In closing, I'd like to thank each and every one of our Navy Chief Petty Officers. Thank you for your service and sacrifice. Thank you for reminding us of the bonds that make Chief Petty Officers so unique. And finally, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to join you, the special few, in your special time of personal transformation. Thank you, and Bravo Zulu.
Thank you, Captain DeGiulio. The time has come to place the precious and well-deserved anchors on the collars of our newest Chief Petty Officers. Chiefs and Chief Selectees, attend, hoot! Side boys, post.
Forward, march. Sideways, halt. That way, that's right, hey.
Chief Select Wells, front and center. Sponsors, prepare for the pinning of the anchors. Chief Select Wells is being pinned by ISC Daniel. Her cover is being placed by CTNC Holtquist. Right, face. Chief Petty Officer Jezrael Wells, arriving. Chief Select Trollope, front center. Chief Select Trollope is being pinned by MAC Warren. His cover is being placed by PSC Sisson. Chief Petty Officer Michael Trollope, arriving. Chief Select Lanter, front and center. Chief Select Lanter is being pinned by LSC Burns, PS2 Williams, and LS2 Skiles. Her cover is being placed by CMC Walton. Chief Petty Officer Angela Lanter, arriving. Chief Select Johnson, front and center. Chief Select Johnson is being pinned by ITC Akeo and FCC Foy. His cover is being placed by LSC Wells. Chief Petty Officer Daniel Johnson, arriving. Chief Select Melillo, front and center. Chief Select Melillo is being pinned by LSC Acolate and LSC Cisenas. His cover is being placed by MAC Ellis. Chief Petty Officer William Melillo, arriving. Chief Select Martinez, front and center. Chief Select Martinez is being pinned by CMC De Jesus and LSCS Pomales. His cover is being placed by EAC Pace. Chief Petty Officer Julian Martinez, arriving. Chief Select Russell, front and center. Chief Select Russell is being pinned by CMC Bartholomew and ISC Shaw. His cover is being placed by CMC Bartholomew as well. Chief Petty Officer Rodney Russell, arriving. Chief Select Bush, front and center. Chief Select Bush is being pinned and covered by ISC Clifford. Chief Petty Officer Justin Bush, arriving. Chief Select Carson, front and center. Chief Select Carson is being pinned by ACC Gray and ITC Keller. His cover is also being placed by ITC Keller. Chief Petty Officer Carson R. Carson, arriving. Chief Select Copeland, front and center. Chief Select Copeland is being pinned by GMC Crump and LSC Wells. His cover is being placed by QMC Pudwell. Chief Petty Officer Kenneth Copeland, arriving. Chief Select Yee, front center. Chief Select Yee is being pinned by CMCS Warwick and BUC Quintana. His cover is being placed by LSCS Lake. Chief Petty Officer CJ Yee, arriving. Chief Select Gage, front and center. Chief Select Gage is being pinned by CUCS Mochigemba and CEC Finch. His cover is being placed by CSC Zainal. Chief Petty Officer Matthew Gage, arriving. Chief Select Barton, front center. Chief Select Barton is being pinned by MACS Russell, MAC Warren, and his cover is being placed by GMC Johnson. Chief Petty Officer Ian Barton, arriving. Chief Select Hamilton, front and center. Chief Select Hamilton is being pinned by CTNC Holtquist. His cover is being placed by ADC Honeycutt. Chief Petty Officer James Hamilton, arriving. Chief Select Swinton, front and center. Chief Select Swinton is being pinned by UTC Nano. His cover is being placed by ITC Tallman. Chief Petty Officer Christopher Swinton, arriving. Chief Select Rogers, front and center. Chief Select Rogers is being pinned by Captain Carpenter and YNC Griffiths. His cover is being placed by CMC De Jesus. Chief Petty Officer Moses Rogers, arriving. Chief Select Doran, front and center. Chief Select Doran is being pinned by BMCS Rogers and ISC Ross. His cover is being placed by GM CS Durkin. Chief Petty Officer Dylan Doran, arriving. Chief Select Mahone, front and center. Chief Select Mahone is being pinned by ITC Worrells and ITC Stokes. His cover is also being placed by ITC Worrells. Chief Petty Officer Steve Mahone, arriving. Guests, please be seated. Side boys, post.
That one. Left, right. Face. Mark time. Mark. Forward. Mark. That one. Up.
The Chief Petty Officer's Creed will now be read. All Chief Petty Officers past and present, attention to the CPO Creed.
During the course of this day, you have been caused to humbly accept challenge and face adversity. This you have accomplished with rare good grace. Pointless as some of these challenges may have seemed, there were valid, time-honored reasons behind each pointed barb. It was necessary to meet these hurdles with blind faith in the fellowship of Chief Petty Officers. The goal was to instill in you that trust is inherent with the donning of the uniform of a chief.
It was our intent to impress upon you that challenge is good, a great and necessary reality which cannot mar you, which in fact strengthens you. In your future as a Chief Petty Officer, you will be forced to endure adversity far beyond that imposed upon you today. You must face each challenge and adversity with the same dignity and good grace you have demonstrated today. By experience, by performance, and by testing, you have been this day advanced to Chief Petty Officer. In the United States Navy, and only in the United States Navy, the rank of E7 carries with it unique responsibilities and privileges you are now bound to observe and expected to fulfill.
Your entire way of life is now changed. More will be expected of you. More will be demanded of you. Not because you are an E7, but because you are now a Chief Petty Officer. You have not merely been promoted one pay grade. You have joined an exclusive fellowship. As in all fellowships, you have a special responsibility to your comrades, even as they have a special responsibility to you.
This is why we in the United States Navy may maintain with pride our feelings of accomplishments once we have attained the position of Chief Petty Officer. Your new responsibilities and privileges do not appear in print. They have no official standing. They cannot be referred to by name, number, or file. They have existed for over 100 years. Chiefs before you have freely accepted responsibility beyond the call of printed assignment.
Their actions and their performance demanded the respect of their seniors as well as their juniors. It is now required that you be the fountain of wisdom, the ambassador of goodwill, the authority in personal relations, as well as in technical applications. Ask the Chief is a household phrase in and out of the Navy. You are now the Chief.
The exalted position you have now achieved, and the word exalted is used advisedly, exists because of the attitude and performance of the chiefs before you. It shall exist only as long as you and your fellow chiefs maintain these standards. It was our intention that you never forget this day. It was our intention to test you, to try you, and to accept you. Your performance has assured us that you will wear the hat with the same pride as your comrades in arms before you. We take a deep and sincere pleasure in clasping your hand and accepting you as a Chief Petty Officer in the United States Navy.
I will now read the Chief Petty Officer frocking letter. Authority to assume the title and wear the uniform of a Chief Petty Officer. You are hereby authorized to assume the title and wear the uniform of a Chief Petty Officer effective immediately. Your appointment carries with it the obligation that you exercise increased authority and willingly accept greater responsibility. Occupying now a position of greater authority, you must strive with a renewed dedication toward the valued ideal of service with honor. Under reference, you will not be entitled to pay and other monetary allowances of Chief Petty Officer until actually advanced to the pay grade for which you've been selected. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests, it is my pleasure to present to you your 2018 Chief Petty Officers. Chaplain Arnone will now deliver the benediction.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, now that we have completed these proceedings, we ask that you remain with each of these newly installed chiefs and with all the other crusty old chiefs. As they move forward, may they know of your abiding presence and your perpetual blessings as they continue to hone their chiefly knowledge and skills throughout their careers. And may they experience from us, their shipmates, and from all those they will guide and advise, our profound respect, ready support, and perpetual gratitude. For we ask these and all things in your most holy name. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. Please remain seated until all of the Chief Petty Officers have congratulated the newly pinned Chief Petty Officers. At that time, you're cordially invited to congratulate them as well. All chiefs report to the stage for a photograph once all the congratulations are completed.